Well, good morning.
Good
Welcome to
morning.
Something to Talk About. We're going to have a great show this morning because I have just opened the envelope and I am surrounding myself with beautiful women this morning. And joining me this morning is Cristie Remmel and Deane. And Christine and I go way back, and Cristie is very quickly becoming one of my BFFs. Because of what they do. And I guess I should preface that by saying they ain't one thing that Cristie or Christine does. They both are involved in many things. But the one thing that's brought us together this morning is to talk about the DFW Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And it is an organization. First of all, I'll ask either one of you, and you both jump in, or either one. How old of an organization is the Veterans Chamber of Commerce? And then the follow-up question is the DFW Veterans Chamber of Commerce.
So the United States Veterans Chamber of Commerce is about 4 years old. The DFW Veterans Chamber is less than a year.
Oh, well, I didn't realize that the national organization is only 4 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But just what a great concept, because we all are familiar with what chambers of commerce are, and it's bringing business leaders together usually in a city setting to discuss among themselves and to network. And there's also been organizations that have worked with veterans to try and network together to share information. What could be a better marriage than to bring the Veterans Chamber of Commerce together for the benefit of both the veterans and also the companies and corporations that you're working with? How did the DFW program start? And you said just a year ago.
Yes, we're coming up. Officially, we already passed a year. When we officially opened the doors to the public was in June. So I guess we have two birth dates, right? How did it come about? It came out of COVID. Last year, I was sitting on my couch when my business died because all my clients closed their business, obviously because of COVID. And a friend of mine sent me the website for the national headquarters and asked me if it was a legitimate chamber of commerce. And I said, I don't know. Let me find out. So I did a little bit of investigation, and I ended up talking to one of the founders, which is Adrienne. And don't ask me how to pronounce her last name because I can't. So I ended up, I don't want to butcher it. So anyways, she is one of the founders, and I ended up talking to her for a couple of days in a row where I just had questions that kept calling her. And then she finally said, well, why don't you open up your chamber? And I was like, what? Can I open up a chamber? And she said, oh yeah, we're wanting to expand across the nation. And here, I'll send you all the paperwork. So she sent me the paperwork, and literally 2 weeks later, and I always laugh when I say this, but I literally call like all my veteran friends, and I was like, I'm opening up a chamber. Do you want to join? And that's what I did.
And you said, wait a minute, how do I open up a chamber, and what do I do, and how do I market it, and how do I reach people? So you reached out to Cristie Deane, who her whole life revolves around bringing people into the business realm. And Christine, I'll throw it in your lap. When you get the call from Cristie, I'm sure you hit the ground running.
Oh, I said, you're doing what? Oh, I'm on board. Put me down. I am there. Actually, I'm an ex-military spouse, so I have very experience with it. And then my youngest son is actually in the Air Force. So I'm like supporting veterans. I am down with that. How can I help? And what was I thinking?
Yeah. Another something to add to your plate.
Oh yeah, but you know what? It's been a blast. I absolutely love being involved with the veteran community, and so much patriotism, so much pride. It's amazing. Love working with our veterans.
Well, it's safe to say that I'm Vietnam era, but there have been several incidences over the last several decades, and we're hopefully closing the door on a 20-year war with Iraq and Afghanistan. And all that has created another influx of veterans coming back. Some of them have come back. Some of them choose to stay in the military. Some of them have said, when I get discharged, what do I do now? If they were an auto mechanic, am I going to pursue a career in being an auto mechanic, or do I want to maybe look in another direction? And sometimes they just don't know where to go and how to find that direction. So is it safe to say that the Chamber of Commerce is a good place for a veteran who wants to connect with other opportunities to go?
Absolutely. I think we are trying to be the local resource for veterans. We focus primarily on veteran-owned businesses and working with patriot-owned businesses and bringing in the large corporations to work with us. But we definitely want to be that resource so we can point them in the direction if they need help with getting jobs, right? Whatever it is, we want to connect with all the veteran organizations in the area. That's really important to us because we want to be that resource. But we're especially excited about working with the business owners.
Yeah, and that's a two-way street too, because veteran business owners know the value of veterans, and the one thing I think I can say very, very honestly is, if you're looking for a good, solid employee, one who is loyal, one who knows how to take direction and run with it, veterans fill that bill because they have lived that, they've experienced that, and so they know it. So Cristie, one of your primary goals is reaching out to the community, and because your name is DFW, you got a broad piece of real estate to cover to bring in business owners, whether they are veteran-owned businesses or those that just want to work with veterans. You got a lot of people to contact.
We do. That phone list is large.
Yes, in the DFW area, there's over 200,000 veteran business owners. 200,000 business owners. So we do have a lot of area to cover. And what we're hoping is that other chambers in each city will open up that are veteran related, because obviously we can't be the only one, right? I mean, we want to, but we want to give everybody an opportunity to have a chamber.
So will you reach out to local chambers of commerce in individual cities, specifically just to find out what veteran-owned businesses they have within their chambers, or is this open to even non-veteran-owned business owners?
We love our Patriot supporters. So our veteran chambers can have Patriot supporters. We're predominantly veteran-owned chambers. However, we accept everybody into the membership.
And what are any qualifications and all for membership into the chamber, and what are the requirements and all for members of the chamber to follow?
Well, as a veteran, you have to have a DD-214, right? Because we want to verify that you are a veteran. As a Patriot supporter, you just have to have a passion to do business with other veterans and be part of our culture in our community. We want outstanding members of society, right? As with any other business, because we are representing our country still, even though we're veterans, we still represent our country, our individual military service. So our core values are service, integrity, and honor.
And and going along with that, COVID has really thrown a wrench into everything. It's amazing to me that a year ago, you said that the DFW chamber started a year ago. Man, you were just knee deep into COVID at that time. So to organize a chamber that cannot sit down and meet face to face, and what were the pieces that you had to put together to make that happen?
Well, to tell you the truth, I was already using Zoom before COVID, but I was having a hard time because back then people wanted to meet in person, right? So when I would say, "Hey, let's schedule a Zoom meeting," and people were like, "No, I just want to meet in person. I feel more comfortable, meeting in person." The other thing is that I was already heading a network group of veterans. So when COVID hit, I told my veteran networking group, we're going to go to Zoom and this is how we're going to do it. So I showed them how to get on Zoom. And then the very first 3 or 4 days, we were just meeting on Zoom like every day. How are we going to do this? What do we need to do to transition online? How do I prevent, my business from going under? And so I was already giving a lot of that advice, right? 2 weeks into COVID, the headquarters website fell into my lap. And then I started doing research till then 2 weeks later, which by now it puts us like at the end of March. I had signed the contract. I built our website within 3 days. I called all my veteran friends. I was trying to put together a board, leadership. So I was doing all this as fast as I possibly could because I knew that there were a lot of Patriot supporters and veteran business owners that needed that guidance. How do you keep your business going? How do you do this? How do you transition from a brick and mortar to being online, right? And then it wasn't until June, I think, June, July, August, that I thought about Cristie because this is like a huge undertaking. I'm one person and I was wearing like all these hats. And I woke up one day and I was like, okay, I need another marketing person. Who do I know that I can call? And I was like, oh, Cristie.
What was I thinking when I answered that call, right?
Yeah.
What did I know?
Like, I can't pay you, but I love you and we can have a lot of fun together.
And we have, the veterans that we've had an opportunity to work with are absolutely amazing. Their dedication, and really of all times to start this, COVID was a great time to do it, right? This is where businesses really needed the extra help to keep their businesses going, keep their businesses afloat. So really, we saw the need and it was time. We just needed to make it happen.
In the very beginning, it was kind of funny because we were on the phone talking to people, walking them through how to get on Zoom. Download the app, do this, do that, right? And it's been a lot of fun because we get to teach people the techie soft skills that they need in order to do business online. Just last Friday, we were showing one of our members how to do something with Zoom, right? So, and everybody was collaborating because one of the things, if you know me, you know that I get up early in the morning. And
that goes back to the military days, doesn't it?
Yes. Well, yes. And so I usually open our Zoom at 7. And people started realizing that, Zoom is open at 7, even though our meeting really starts at 7:30, right? So then they were showing up because they were texting me, I can't log in on Zoom. How do I do this? And so that 7 to 7:30 started becoming our tech, our tech instructional time, or just we come in and we just have a good time. There's no agenda. And that's where all the questions get asked.
Foxhole buddies.
Yeah.
Well, and I know from personal experience that you cannot lead a meeting and also administer a meeting at the same time. It's very difficult. You want to be focused on that camera, talking eye to eye with the people that are participating. You can't be doing that and pushing buttons and turning pages and checking marks off. So Christine Deane, who is dfwnetworkingdiva.com, that's her website. She's the absolutely ideal person to bring on board to say, look, while I'm talking to the people, I want you to make sure that you've got all the tools that are necessary, because sometimes you want to post a photo on your Zoom. You want to give information on the Zoom. You want to take a poll. You want to have comments coming through, and you want to address those comments. And it's very, very hard to administer and lead a meeting when you're trying to do all of those things also. And so, Christine, I know firsthand, because our relationship is going on probably about 2 years now also. And I know exactly what you're saying, Cristie. When I meet up with Christine, very often, I will say, well, wait, I don't know how I'm doing. She'll say, just sit back, let me take care of it. Mm-hmm. And she does. And now, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think I could have gotten this far without her. I mean, really, I trust her completely. She is truly my right-hand person, and I would not have gotten this far without her love and her support. And I love her, and I support her just as much. She has become an extremely close friend, and she is really a true supporter, not only of me, but also of the veteran community.
And Christine, to your credit, you're not a veteran, but your family has been involved. In fact, I think you say you've got links back to the Civil War.
We do. We have the discharge papers from the Civil War from one of our great grandparents. So yeah, I know family history of serving. My grandfather is a Marine. So yeah, uncle in the Army. So we have that patriotism is huge. It's important, right? Yeah. And supporting our veterans is a huge thing.
And Cristie, you mentioned it. You said you deal with veterans and patriots, and they are like one and the same, because someone who is a patriot and supports veterans and veteran programs is as valuable, if not more valuable, than the veterans themselves, because they understand the veterans, and they understand that meaning of being able to connect veterans with medical issues, with living issues, with whatever they possibly need. Again, I'm in the back of my head, I'm thinking that the Veterans Chamber of Commerce is only a 4-year-old organization, when our military goes back, centuries. Why is this something that took into the 21st century to happen? I'm certainly glad that it did.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree, to tell you the truth, it came out of the need to service. I am a United States Navy veteran myself, right? And I am Persian Gulf War. Being the Persian Gulf War, first war after the Vietnam War, none of the services that are available today were available when we got out. So when we got out, nothing existed for us, right? And as the wars have progressed and our wounded veterans are living, because if you got to remember, right? If you got wounded in Vietnam, chances are that you were going to die, right? And if you lived, you were going to be severely wounded and maybe in the care of your family members, right? Exactly. Or you would end up on the streets as a homeless veteran with issues because those services were not available, right? And so our headquarters established with the Wounded Warrior, because 2 of our founders are wounded warriors themselves, right? And so they wanted to bridge that gap. And so they've done that very, very well. There are other veteran chambers out there that are doing exceptionally well, but they're independent veteran chambers. They're not part Well, until I get a hold of them and then they become part of us, right?
Right, right.
That's another story.
And your time is
So,
coming.
yes, yes, exactly. And I'm like, Uncle Sam, we want you type of thing.
Right.
That could be a campaign, actually. And so our headquarters organized to bridge that, right? Do something at a national level. They are now fully partnered with the DoD. And they spent a lot of time going through that process so that we can be in full partnership with the DoD. Also, we're going to be heading the Warrior Games in San Antonio for 2022 and 2023, which is really exciting. And then we're also working with the Invictus Games to see if we can get that for 2025 with Prince Harry. But why hasn't it been organized is because nobody has ever thought about it, actually, right? And if they had, it's been independent veterans doing things. There's so much help, there's so much resources, but there's never been anybody that has cohesively brought everyone together. And that's what our mission as the headquarters chamber is. Part of my duties, because I ask a lot of questions and I'm very motivated and I'm a go-getter. I just became appointed as the National Chamber Development Director. That's a really long title.
Wow.
So we plan on taking over the nation and the world.
Yes, and the world. We're actually forming a new chamber in the UK in partnership with our headquarters. So very exciting.
So, these veteran chambers, they're not out there to compete against any city's chamber of commerce. They are an extension of it, and an opportunity for members of any city's chamber of commerce, which those go back decades and decades and decades. It's a matter of reaching out to those city chambers and saying, we have this veterans chamber available. So if any of your members are veteran owned, patriot owned, and all, please consider joining the chamber. So it is a local thing, but now is there also like a state veterans chamber of commerce? And we already established there's a national chamber of commerce, and you indicated that this is moving in the direction of an international veterans chamber of commerce.
We don't have any state chambers yet because my first priority is to build the city chambers. We are not, and I repeat this, we are not in any competition whatsoever with any local chamber. We want to collaborate, affiliate, associate, and work together, right? Because the regular chamber provides a very important part in the community. They're well established, right? But our veteran chamber is specifically to provide those resources that only veterans can receive. So for example, veteran business owners qualify for certain certifications, and our government puts aside a certain amount of money for those veteran business owners to do business at the local level, right? But if you're not certified, then you can't do business. Right? You would then just be considered a regular business owner trying to do business with at your local level, right? But if you're certified and there's an opportunity for you to provide a service to that local government entity, that is not something that you have to bid for. The only thing that you have to do is one, make sure that you're certified. Two, that opportunity is there. Then you submit your paperwork and you get that government contract. That is set aside for veterans, right? Your local chamber would not know that. They would not know how to provide those resources to you, but because we are veteran, we know how to do that, right? And so that's where we would collaborate with other chambers. Maybe we can do events together, a clay shoot, a golf tournament. We're not wanting to take away any business from any of the local chambers. We want to collaborate. We want to be friends, right? And we want to impact our community. our main priority as the veteran chamber is to help our veteran business owners not lose their business, number one, access all of the resources available to us, and make an impact for the better in our community. The other thing I failed to mention is that as laws change that impact our veteran community, we want to disseminate that information, right? Your local chamber doesn't have that information, so they would not be able to provide that to the veteran business owners. That's how we differentiate.
Right. We've got our veteran service organizations, and there's over 350 just in the North Texas area alone. Right. And so we want to be the liaison with all those organizations. This way, when people need services, we know somebody, right? So we can provide that service. And that's not something they're not having veteran service organizations come in and do presentations during their chamber meetings in the standard city. But that's something that we do. Right. So we have a definite purpose and a definite offering services that you don't necessarily find at the other chambers. So we collaborate well with them, but we do two different things, but some of the same things. Right.
You know, and I'm thinking in terms of the veteran who says, my gosh, there are more agencies out there that say they can help me. Where do I go? How do I decide? Christine and I have a mutual friend who heads the Veteran Center of North Texas. They also really are a pot where the veteran, comes to them and says, maybe I need a tank of gas just to get to work, or I need this, and they can help them. But that's a way of disseminating information to the veteran in an immediate need. I think what I'm seeing with the Veterans Chamber is also a better association of the veterans with these veteran-owned corporations for long-term benefit. Am I correct? A city chamber of commerce, the members of a city chamber of commerce are basically there in order to increase their client base. They're looking to get more customers into their business. Well, if they're successful in getting more clients into their business, the business is going to need more people to help administer the business. That's where the veteran chamber can come in, is because, am I correct that one of their primary goals is to bring in more employees into those businesses for more efficient operation?
It's not our main focus.
To tell you the truth, we are 4 years old. We are less than a year old officially. We're a year old, but officially we're going to say June, right?
Right.
We are still establishing those relationships with all the organizations, right? This is where getting the word out comes into play, right? Because we need help establishing those relationships with not only Patriot supporters that want to do business or that want to hire veterans, but also with corporate sponsorships and with VSOs, veteran service organizations that provide services to our veteran community, right? So because of, it's kind of funny that people think that we're more established or that we're bigger than what we seem, but we're not. I mean, we're still in the startup phase, right?
Just the name Chamber of Commerce has been around. Everybody knows what that is, but it's the key word at the beginning of that, Veterans Chamber of Commerce. That is a new concept and a new growing concept, and that's what needs to be disseminated to the public. That's where Christine comes in, because she's great at getting that definition, that distinction across to people to know what a Veterans Chamber of Commerce is all about.
Right, and so we bring people in that are looking for jobs, and have them do their, commercial during the networking portion, say, this is me, I'm getting out, I'm looking for a job, I'm looking for connections in these areas. And our members will try and do what they can to help them, right? Because we want to help connect each other, whether they're looking for a job. A lot of what we're working on is the entrepreneurs that want to run their own business, right? Sometimes working for someone else is difficult coming out of the service. And I know Cristie's talked about her experience with that before. But sometimes, coming out, the transition into getting a job, the first thing they think is, I've had this paycheck coming in all this time, and now what do I do, right? And so their first instinct is get a job, right? And sometimes that's not as easy as you think it would be, right? And fitting into the new culture isn't always as easy as you think it might be. Sometimes the best solution for them is to actually have their own business and own a business, right? And that's where we are great at, right? Bringing them and teaching them how to be a business owner and how to be in charge and run their own business and what kind of issues. Like, we have deep dive workshops that we do monthly that deal on different issues with being business owners. We have somebody coming in actually later today for talking about HR, right? And some of the HR concerns that you might need to know. And so there's a lot of different things that we're doing to help with the business owner specifically, in addition to being the resource for those that don't necessarily want to own a business.
There's also a lot of resources that are available through our headquarters that we're putting together as a new national chamber development director. There's just no way of shortening that, right?
Another hat. Huh?
I need to make that an acronym. And the Marine Corps is extremely well versed in creating acronyms and in talking in acronyms. We can speak very fast in acronyms. But anyways, that's one of the things that we're putting together, because our headquarters has a lot of resources that are available to our membership at large through the chambers. One of the things that they're doing now quarterly is the job fair, the virtual job fair, and that is nationwide. So we're bringing all these corporate sponsors nationally, where we take a veteran, make sure that their resume is right. If they need a suit for the interview, it is given to them through Save a Suit, right? So we make sure that our veteran that is going to go for that job interview with that national corporate partner is equipped to be presentable, that their resume has been correctly transcribed from the military to the civilian lingo, so that they can find the right job if that's what they want to do. So that's one of the things that our headquarters is doing quarterly. The other thing that we're getting ready to do is bring in mentorship. Corporate 500 or Fortune 500 companies that want to mentor the vetted business owner, because they have to meet certain qualifications, right, in order to show that you're moving from point A to point B, so that you can then be successful. So that's another program that we're going to be offering through our national headquarters, right? If we have a wounded warrior that the spouse or the child wants to go into business, we're going to have those programs put together as well. So lots of great things coming.
Absolutely. And our organizations that we work with, right, we're making friends across the nation. So Vets to Industry, right, and they do these great big job fairs, and they bring in recruiters to talk, right, and 500 people at them online. And, so we have friends that are set up with that we can send people to. Or VCON, right, and Veteran Center of North Texas, right, with Paul Hendricks, right. So we have something local. Like you said, somebody has a flat tire and they can't pay for the tire, but they need to get to their job, right. We send them to Paul because he can help, right? So we have all these great veteran resources at our fingertips, and we've got those connections. So we just say, veterans, come talk to us, come hang out with us, right? Come join us. We have our meetings on Friday mornings at Dark 100. Like we said, Foxhole Buddies at 7 a.m. and the meeting starts at 7:30 in the morning. And we welcome all of our veterans, all our Patriot supporters, people that corporate, right, that wants to come in and support us. We say, come join us. And if you're not in the DFW area, that's okay. We'll get you plugged in. And there's no reason why you can't start a chamber in your area, right?
Also, our first responders, right? Our first responders are welcome to come in and join us. To exclude them, because a lot of are veterans. So, yeah.
Exactly. And again, DFW Veterans Chamber of Commerce.org.
No, dfwveteranschamber.org.
There it is. It's on the screen.
There it is.
Folks, write that down, because if you need the services of the Chamber of Commerce for veterans, or you know a veteran that could benefit from that website, have them go to the website, get the numbers, get the contacts that they need. No question is unanswered. I can guarantee you, just in the short time that I've known Cristie, that if you got a question or inquiry or a direction that you need, throw it at her. She's gonna connect you and let you know. And also, I think that something that's very, very important that Cristie mentioned, we've got a lot of physically challenged veterans, and nobody knows what they go through like a veteran-owned business. So if there are veteran-owned businesses, Patriot-owned businesses that have services available for those physically challenged employees, what better way to connect them than with the Veterans Chamber of Commerce to say, look, I'm in a wheelchair and I can't get to work that easily. And when I get to work, I need to make sure that I have access to the facility. I know, pour that in Cristie's lap, and she'll connect you with the members that can say, hey, you know what, let's talk.
Well, one of the things that has come out of COVID is the ability to work from home. So
exactly.
A lot of those challenges, honestly, companies have figured out a way how to overcome that. So now they are hiring people from home. So those physical limitations, truly, I don't think that they exist, because where there's a will, there's a way. And multiple of businesses are not even going back to being in the building because they have found out that their employees are more productive from home.
Well, you mentioned Zoom and how everybody is now becoming a little bit more fluent in Zooming. Most chambers before COVID and hopefully now coming out of COVID, they would meet for breakfast or for lunch or something on a weekly basis. Do you perceive that down the road that Zoom is still going to be the best way to connect with people, or will you be having physical meetings?
So we're never ever going to have a chamber meeting in person, because our chamber already has people from all over the nation and the UK and the Philippines. So our particular chamber is never going to have a chamber meeting in person. What we are having is our socials in person, and then our fundraisers in person, and then we have like happy hour in person. And my hopes is that we grow enough chambers that there's going to be a veteran chamber or an ex-forces chamber, like they call it in Europe, in all major cities throughout the world. That's what my goal is.
Well, and we've already onboarded the Houston Chamber in Texas. So here we are, less than a year old, and we've already got Houston onboarded, and we're looking at the UK. We had our first meeting earlier today. So it's growing, and that's what we want to see. We want to see it grow. And we want to make sure that.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that it's a two-way street too, that not only are you reaching out to all of these chambers to come on board with the Veterans Chamber here in the DFW area, but also for those chambers out there to reach out to you to say, give me more information. It sounds very interesting. We'd like to partner with you. And because it is Zoom, like you said, Cristie, there's no way that if you're covering the entire DFW area, you're talking about thousands of people. It's a lot easier to reach them through the media opportunities than it is in person.
And to tell you the truth, I've gotten a little bit lazy with Zoom. I'd rather attend
That's what you got Christine for.
Yeah, well, I'd rather attend a Zoom meeting than an in-person meeting because of the travel time. So 30 minutes to travel there, an hour for the meeting, then 30 minutes back. That's 2 hours where I could just show up on Zoom and I only spend 1 hour, right?
Sure.
The other thing is because we are widely spread, Zoom just makes it easier for everybody.
Well, hey, look, the other advantage is all you got to do is just comb your hair and put on a nice top or something. You could have your pajama bottoms on, sitting down and Zooming.
Exactly.
Christine, I know, Christine.
I attend a networking meeting on Wednesday morning, so I am fully dressed.
But
Well, so Stuart, if you don't mind, we do have a fundraiser coming up that I would love to
that's
plug.
exactly where I was going, because you mentioned a couple of these events, and
Read each other's
this,
minds again.
that's right.
So some of the fun things we have going on with the chamber, like we said, we have our meetings every Friday morning. Come hang out, chit chat from 7 to 7:30, and then the meeting from 7:30 to 8. We usually have a spotlight speaker, or maybe we're going to talk about a veteran service organization or business owner. We've always got something exciting going on. We've got our deep dives that are once a month, which go into deeper topics that entrepreneurs are going to want to know about, small business owners. And then we do our socials. So we try and do some kind of happy hour so everybody get together and socialize and get to know each other. Plus, we're going to be doing our great big fundraiser, which is going to be our clay shoot. Now, of course, being the overachiever that I am, I was like, oh, Cristie, we can't just do a clay shoot. And she's like, oh, no, now what? So no, there's more, right? So there's those that like to shoot, which is fine. So you have your clay shoot. And really, if you haven't done it before, that's okay. We'll pair you up with a team that knows how to do it, and they'll help guide you through the process, because I think it sounds like fun. I've shot before, but I've never done clay shoots, things that are moving. So that sounds like fun. And so there's that side of it. But we're also going to combine networking with it. Okay, so we're going to do networking at the location, at the clay shoot, at the gun ranch. And that's going to be a whole lot of fun, the Texas Gun Ranch. And then we're going to do networking online for those that aren't quite ready to go out in person, or maybe they're further away. So we're going to do an online networking. We're going to be broadcasting live from the shoot. And we're going to have an auction. So those that want to support the veterans, right, you can do it online, and you can watch the auction online and make purchases that way. Or you can do it right there in person. So we've got a lot going on. That's going to be May 15th. And we're really excited about this. May 15th. So feel free to share it with everybody. Tell them to come join, hang out at the chamber.
And again, that is
on our website.
Yeah, I was going to say, go to the website, and the information about the clay shoot will be there on the website. Get involved.
Absolutely.
If folks are so motivated to help financially with the DFW chamber, is there a button that's on the website also where they can go to donate?
Absolutely.
Yes,
please donate. And if you wanted to sponsor a veteran shooter so that they could participate in the glaze shoot, there's a spot on there. If you want to sponsor one of the stations, or you can have a sign for your company there. If you wanted to sponsor a networking table, so you'd have your own table, so you could set up stuff there. There's a lot of options to get involved. And if you wanted to sponsor, lunch or dinner or happy hour, that's another opportunity also. So please reach out to us.
All I got to do, get in touch with Cristie Remmel, or get in touch with Christine Deane. If you got questions and all, they will answer your questions. In fact, they may give you more information than you initially thought you were going to get. I can probably guarantee that.
Well, we live to serve.
Well, girls, thank you very, very much for taking the time to discuss this. I think it's just fascinating, the amount of contact that you have made in less than 1 year. Really, that's incredible. And I think the sky is the limit for you. Just reach for those stars, and veterans, wrap your arms around these two ladies, because the DFW Veterans Chamber, I think, is a force to be reckoned with. And it's going to be a great opportunity for you, if you're a business owner, to reach veterans, and veterans to reach out and say, I want to work with those people because they understand me. And that's what it's all about.
Right.
So both of you, thank you very, very much. And the best of luck to you with the DFW Veterans Chamber. And it's dfwveteranschamber.org.
Yes.
So
go,
it is.
go visit them. Thank you again. And that'll do it for another edition of Something to Talk About. And I'll come back next week, same time, same place, and we'll have more to discuss. Okay? Go out, make it a good day and a good week. Bye now.
Bye-bye.